Hello again everybody, Wizard138 here. In this video, we will be going over the combat tricks in Magic the Gathering's expansion set Core 20. For the purposes of this video, we will be defining a combat trick as a spell that you can cast at instant speed that affects a creature's power and toughness, and/or adds a status effect to that creature. We'll talk about the mana colors and their costs so you can be prepared for every trick your opponent has access to at the upcoming pre-release or even at your next limited Grand Prix. Now, let's get started. First up, we have God's Willing. It is a white instant speed spell, 1 white mana. Target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. Scry 1. Protection is a ability that means that your creature cannot be blocked, targeted, dealt damage, enchanted, or equipped by anything of that color. So if you attack with your creature, and your opponent puts a green creature in front of it, you can cast God's Willing on your creature, and it will not take any damage, and naming green, it will not take any damage from that creature. You also have to be careful because your opponent may be able to cast this as a way to make sure that their creature lives in combat, which is why it is a combat trick. Scry 1 also means that you can look at the top card of your library and decide if you want to keep it on top or put it on the bottom. Next we have Inspired Charge. It is a white instant speed spell. It is 4 mana, 2 white, and 2 generic mana. Creatures you control get +2/+1 until end of turn. A lot of people will use this on attacks with a wide board to have all of their creatures do extra damage. You can use it for defense, however, as it does increase the toughness of your creatures, so you be careful of that when you're attacking into your opponent, having 4 mana available, 2 of which are white. Next we have Moment of Heroism. It is a white instant speed spell. It is 1 white and 1 generic. Target creature gets +2/+2 and gains lifelink until end of turn. This does add 2 power and toughness to the creature, but also gives that creature lifelink. So if you're trying to race your opponent, keep in mind that their creature's damage will gain them life. So that will change the life totals in combat. Now we have a blue combat trick. It is Befuddle. It is a blue instant speed spell. 1 blue, 2 generic mana. Target creature gets -4/-0 until end of turn. Draw a card. This means that a creature that your opponent casts this on will lose its power. It won't lose any toughness, but if you were looking to trade, let's say, 3/3s with each other, your creature will die and theirs will live. Also keep in mind that this is what we just call a cantrip, because it does allow the caster of the spell to draw a card. So this will replace itself in their hand from the top of their library. Now we have a black combat trick. It is Disfigure, 1 black mana, instant speed. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. A lot of times people will use this just as a removal spell, but keep in mind that it can be used in combat. If you attack with a 5/5, your opponent blocks with a 4/4, they can shrink your 5/5 down to a 3/3 by giving it -2/-2 at instant speed. Next is Blade Brand. It is a black instant speed spell, 1 black, 1 generic mana. Target creature gains Death Touch until end of turn, draw a card. This is another cantrip, as we noticed before from Befuddle. The Death Touch ability means that any damage dealt by that creature to another creature is enough to destroy it. So even just a 1/1 can kill a 10/10 with 1 damage. Also keep in mind that if you attack with a 2/4 and they block with a 2/4 and they give a creature Death Touch, theirs will live and yours will die. So be careful of that one. It is very sneaky. Next we have a red spell, a red combat trick, Infuriate. It is in red instant speed, 1 red mana. Target creature gets +3/+2 until end of turn. It is not quite giant growth because it is not green, but it is close to that. Be careful of this because it can be a fairly large boost of power and toughness for your opponent's creatures on attack or defense. Next we have Uncaged Fury. It is a red instant speed spell, 1 red, 2 generic mana. Target creature gets +1/+1 and gains double strike until end of turn. This means that it deals both first strike and regular combat damage. So your opponent's creature will deal, let's say it is a 3/3, it will deal 3 damage and first strike combat, and then you'll move to regular combat damage and it'll deal 3 more damage. So it can do a 3/3 will be able to do 6 damage total throughout combat because of first strike and regular combat damage. Next we have Might of the Masses. It is a green instant speed spell, 1 green mana. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each creature you control. This is something that with a wide board could be very dangerous. If an opponent has 7 creatures on the board and they attack, they can give a creature +7/+7 as long as that number of creatures stays on the battlefield. Next we have Feral Invocation. It is a green enchantment aura spell that is 1 green and 2 generic mana, but it does have flash, which means that you can cast the spell at any time. All of the other spells were instant speed, meaning that it only lasts until end of turn. This combat trick, however, if cast at instant speed, is something that will stick around, and it is an enchanted creature. An enchanted creature will get +2/+2. It will not just last until the end of the turn, though. It will continue to persist as long as this enchantment is attached to that creature. And lastly, we have Growth Cycle. It is a green instant speed spell, 1 green, 1 generic mana. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. It gets an additional +2/+2 until end of turn for each card named Growth Cycle in your graveyard. I am fear that this is one spell that will kill many people, because someone will attack with a creature and have 6 green mana available, and they will cast 3 Growth Cycles, dealing 7 extra damage, and unfortunately probably killing somebody in the process. This is another one to be mindful of as you're going into your pre-release or even your Grand Prix. And there we have it, everybody. All of the combat tricks from Magic the Gathering's expansion set Core 20. If you enjoyed this video, found it useful, please leave a like and subscribe. Check me out on Twitch, username Wizard138. Follow me on Twitter at Wizard138VODs. See you next time on the next instructional video. Have a good night, everybody.